And in business news, the federal government has joined forces with the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria to come up with an actionable roadmap and policy framework that would refurbish the nation's manufacturing sector. This is just as the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, has assured that if presented, the roadmap and policy framework would be speedily implemented to effect the needed changes that will revamp the sector. TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akonde reports.
A three-day National Manufacturing Policy Summit declared open by Vice President Kashim Shettima. The Vice President acknowledged that the sector, which has a crucial role to play in building a nation driven by production and abundance, had endured a series of setbacks over the past decades. He called for the prioritization of local content and promotion of made-in-Nigeria products. He also pointed out that Executive Order 003, which makes the patronage of locally manufactured products mandatory, is still in effect.
Through collective efforts by the government and the private sector, we will transcend bonds and limits that have caused and have caused to smile later. We must at all costs shift our economy from being import dependent.
The summit offers the opportunity to reevaluate the challenges confronting the sector and provide solutions to resolving them. The president of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria commended the administration of President Bola Tinubu and especially thanked the VP for facilitating tremendous support and collaboration from the presidency.
The ultimate objective is to position the sector on the path of accelerated growth, enhance its competitiveness and reap its multiplier effect on the economy in particular and the well-being of the citizenry in general.
Chairman of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, was frank in his submission that the latest increase in interest rates to almost 30% by the Central Bank of Nigeria will hurt local manufacturing businesses. In his keynote address, he also highlighted the necessity of reliable power supply and affordable financing for industrial growth. Also, former Minister of Finance Olusegun Aganga urged the federal government to declare manufacturing a national priority sector.
Import dependence is equivalent to importing poverty, exporting jobs. No power, no growth, no prosperity. No affordable financing, no growth, no prosperity.
With this summit, Nigeria is signaling to the world and investors that the time has come to transform our economy.
The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria also criticized government's policies and attitudes for being responsible for the low performance of the manufacturing sector in the country. But the Vice President pledged the commitment of President Tinubu's administration to grow the economy and create jobs. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of AHA Consultancies, Mr. Demola Adigun, says the ongoing friction between, of course, the regulatory refinery, international oil companies, and regulators in the sector is largely due to inadequate supply of crude oil to refineries across the country. Mr. Demola said this when he appeared on Business Nigeria, a flagship business show, earlier today.
Refineries are not very profitable. It's not the very most profitable part of investments. Typically 1.3, 1.2 returns annually. And the refineries in Africa are more profitable than refineries in Europe. And refineries are affected by the price of crude oil. Once crude oil prices rise above a certain level, refineries don't make money anymore. So Dangote investing in refineries is a big deal, and it's something we should applaud. But the second issue, which has been dominating the airlines, is crude supply, availability, and things like other theories of conspiracy and others. I don't think that is actually the problem. The bigger problem we have in Nigeria is insufficient crude to give to people who need it. A country that's supposed to produce 2.1 million barrels, that's barely doing 1.3, can't service all the needs of the market. I mean, the agreements the government, NNPC had with Dangote was 300,000 barrels per day supplied to the refinery, not 655, not everything. NNPC should fulfill the agreement. Why NNPC can't fulfill the agreement is a myriad of other issues exactly. So the issue is insufficiency of crude. So there's no conspiracy from my perspective on supply issues. Is right now, because of oil theft and other issues, we don't have enough crude to give to anybody.
In other news, as the global financial landscape continues to evolve, the importance of robust and standardized valuation practices are becoming increasingly paramount. This is the position of a strategic advisor at Dia Fatimei & Co., Mr. Larry Olutimileyin, who also spoke on our Business Nigeria program. Mr. Olutimileyin spoke on the role of technology in valuations, which he says is critical to the sustainability of any business in a dynamic and rapidly growing economy like Nigeria.
From a valuation perspective and from a financial reporting perspective is on sustainability. Everyone is talking about sustainability now, and how ESG factors, environmental, social, and governance factors are incorporated within valuations and how they are reported in financial reports is increasingly important. I'll say that the other trend is the role of technology in valuation. Yeah. So the use of big data, machine learning, and how that feeds into automated valuation models, the use of GIS, drone technology, how all those feed in. And I'd say also more topical is also the impact of the recent devaluations of the currency and inflation, what impact those have had on valuations of assets.
The stock market reshaped prices and moved up in the positive direction following renewed interest in companies' equities. Effiong Ekop reports.
Stocks deals hit up the second day at the start of the second half of the year. Index moved from the negative of the previous day to average performance of 0.05% to stressed little gains on investments. It happened as some fund managers renewed interest in high-performance companies recreating portfolios. Access Holding grabbed a better chance of rising in price by nearly 3%. Zenith Bank and UBA followed in the pursuit of gains. Nigerian Breweries and United Capital equally showed strengths in the markets. On the other hand, First Bank Holding was the biggest business loser due to sales pressure by investors. Other trade losers were Transcorp, Dangote Sugar, Oando, and flour mills. 365 million units of shares worth 4.1 billion naira were traded across market subsectors. Effiong Ekop, TVC News, Lagos.
And crude oil prices were little changed today, holding near 2 months high reached in the previous session on expectations for rising fuel demand from summer travel session and possible U.S. interest rate cuts that would boost economic growth. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude is selling at $83.84 with an uptick of 0.55%. And Brent crude futures is also on the upward price margin of 0.52%, selling at $87.05 per barrel. Bonnie Light fell to sell at $86 with a downward price decline of 0.72%. And for the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers are offering $86.59 with an upsurge of 0.63%.